You've seen my latest video on the things that I hate about living in Sarasota. You probably think that living here kind of sucks, but I disagree. I think that living in Sarasota is the best place to live in all of Florida. And you know what? US News and World Report agrees with me because they rank Sarasota the #1 place to live in all of Florida for 2023 and 2024. But you know what else they did? They ranked Sarasota the #1 best place to retire, and it's the second best place to live for families. So with that being said, I want to give you 10 things that I love about living here in Sarasota, Florida, so that you can make the decision for yourself. But first, if you're new here, my name is Zach Payne, and I'm a local real estate agent right here in Sarasota, Florida. And I'm blessed to be able to give you folks my knowledge, expertise, and insight on what it's like living here in Sarasota, Florida. So without further ado, my number 10 thing I love about living in Sarasota are the beaches. Let's check it out. I'm sure you've heard of world famous Siesta Key Beach. It's magical powdery white sand that's never too hot on your feet. Or maybe it was the beautiful green water that's almost never too cold to jump into. But listen, after basically growing up on the beach, there are some aspects of Sarasota's beaches that I think go pretty underappreciated. For example, the water access at any of Sarasota's beaches is some of the best in the world. And what I mean by that is the Gulf Coast isn't really known for its big, large waves and strong currents. Almost anybody from a small child to grandma and gramps can enjoy the water. I just recently got back from a trip to Hawaii where I couldn't even get into the water at all. The whole week I was there were extremely large swells and even stronger currents. It cut to the point where I found myself saying, when I get back home, I just want to go to the beach and actually be able to enjoy the water. Not only that, but Sarasota also has so many options for beaches. From Siesta Key to Turtle Beach, to Lido, to Longboat Key, Anna Maria Island, Venice Beach, Casperson Beach, and so on. So there's no lack of beaches here in Sarasota. So at number 9, I have the dining. Whether you want a local shop to eat at, a family-owned restaurant, a nice place to go out for a fancy dinner, Sarasota's got you covered with plenty of things to do. So if you're a foodie, you're in luck. Oh, and I'll be mentioning it a little bit later, but the food truck scene in Sarasota is really good. Now at number 8, I have its location. Sarasota is only about a 45-minute drive from Tampa. So having that big city proximity is something that's really nice without actually living inside of it. I love going up to Tampa for a day trip just to see something new, check out new shops and restaurants. I love being able to also root for a big sports team and go to like a Bucks or a Rays or a Lightning game and not have to worry about finding a place to stay for the weekend or all of these other things. You can just drive up, watch a game, and go home. Also, the Port of Tampa is also really close, so if you're into cruises, you got that too. Also, not only is Sarasota located only 45 minutes away from Tampa, but it's 2 hours away from Orlando and Disney World, which is pretty awesome. And you're only about a 3-hour drive across the coast to the Atlantic Ocean, Boca Raton, and places like that. Now at number 7, I have the entertainment. Sarasota does a really good job with its entertainment here. On Friday in downtown, Sarasota does this thing called Fresh Friday, where a bunch of local shops come out and set up little stands. And it all leads up to a big stage where a different band is playing each week, which is pretty cool. At the same time, Lakewood Ranch also does its own similar kind of block party festival called First Friday, where the first Friday of each month, they do kind of a similar thing with a bunch of local shops and food vendors and stands all get together and also enjoy music. But one of my favorite places to enjoy events and entertainment is University Town Center. There's a thing called The Green out by UTC, and every Thursday night they do a different activity, whether it's live music, a performance, yoga in the morning time, it could be anything. So you have that. Plus, there's a bunch of different activities that go on for different occasions. They'll kind of decorate the green up for different things. And there's a huge car show called Cars and Coffee that happens on the first Saturday of each month. So no matter what you're into, know that Sarasota is working hard to pull you out of the house and into the community. Now at number 6, I have Sarasota safety. After living in Sarasota for the past 23 years, I can say without a shadow of the doubt that Sarasota is extremely safe. That's why I have an issue when you look up Sarasota crime rates. The first thing that pops up is this, saying, with a crime rate of 37 per 1,000 residents, Sarasota has one of the highest crime rates in America compared to all communities of all sizes, from the smallest towns to the very largest cities. One's chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime here is 1 in 27. So they make this wild claim and then they force you to buy the report to actually see what they mean. See, the thing with Sarasota, which I'm pretty sure is with a lot of other big cities, is the crime is relegated to really small pockets of Sarasota, and they can really be ever-changing. Of course, downtown is gonna have a slightly higher crime rate than other places, but majority of Sarasota is extremely safe. And that's something that's really important to know. But without just taking my word for it, check out places like crimemapping.com. There's also a really good link to an article that I'll list in the description below by a page called Two College Brothers that do a really good job of breaking down kind of the community and what the crime statistics really look like here in Sarasota. To put it into perspective for you, I've never heard of nor know anybody who's ever reported or had any issues with crime in Sarasota. And I know a lot of people, but there are certain places that I'm not gonna go. And you just have to know that. And the only way you can do that is by driving around and kind of getting a feel for it yourself. So piggybacking off of safety, I have at number 5, Sarasota is a great place to raise a family. Now, I know for so long, Sarasota's been known as the place to retire, but it's becoming more and more discovered by younger and younger families. Now, as a 23-year-old thinking about considering to start a family here in the near future, I can kind of understand why it was such a great place to grow up as a kid. Let me give you a few examples. I remember growing up, there was only 1 or 2 community pools. Now in Sarasota, there's like 50 to 100 community pools. It seems like every new neighborhood is popping up with a community pool, a playground, a splash pad, all of these crazy different amenities. But not only that, there's so many amazing parks in Sarasota, from Urfer Family Park to Rothenbach to Bentry Park. There's just so many options for families, and even sports. Sports here are huge and they're year-round. There's no being snowed in, canceling baseball and football games because of anything else. I mean, you can play sports here year-round, which is so great for young families. Oh, another thing that's really important for you young families, I mean, it really wasn't for me when I was growing up, but I get it, is the schools. And that's really big. Sarasota County has an A-rated school district, which means it's one of the top-rated ones in all of Florida, and that includes Ashton Elementary, Sarasota Middle, and Riverview High School. Now, I personally attended Lakeview Elementary, which I absolutely loved. I also went to Sarasota Middle School and Riverview High School. I had a great experience at all. And now I know a ton of people who went to all of the schools throughout all of Sarasota, and there's really not a bunch of bad things to say about any of them. Now, reason number 4, I had to go with another obvious one about why I love Sarasota, and that's the weather. Now, yes, the summers can get pretty brutal, but I would take a hot summer over a freezing winter any day of the week. Talking to more and more of you guys online has really given me a different perspective on the winters in other places. I mean, growing up having to scrape snow off of your windshield and ice, I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, it's the middle of February and I'm wearing a t-shirt and pants and it's beautiful outside. I mean, with average temps being 70 degrees, when the summertime heat comes, it can almost feel pretty refreshing. Plus, there's tons of ways to beat the summer heat by going to pools or the beach, you know? At number 3, I have the arts and the culture. I remember as a kid being forced to go to all the museums and arts and theaters, and I hated it. But now that I'm getting older, I'm really appreciating all of those things that we have here in Sarasota. From the Florida Studio Theater to the Sarasota Ballet, the Van Wezel, the Sarasota Opera House. I mean, there are tons of amenities for arts and culture right here in your backyard, which not a lot of other places have. My personal favorite place to explore is the Ringling Museum with the Katazan. I love walking the grounds and learning about all of the history that John and Mabel Ringling had to do with here in Sarasota. Many people are attracted to Sarasota strictly for the art scene, which has been mentioned as one of the best in all of Southwest Florida. Also, downtown is a really vibrant place that rubs off that performing arts scene, and you really can feel the vibe here. Now, at number 2, I have the housing options here in Sarasota. No matter what kind of budget you have, whether it's $100,000 to $10 million, you can find something for you here. From 30-level sky-rise condo buildings to townhouses, to villas, to single family, new construction, resale, you have it all here. So if you take even a little bit of a deeper dive into each one of these communities, you'll find different amenities and features. Now, if you're 55 years old or older and you want to live in a 55+ community, well, Sarasota has tons of those. But maybe you're a younger family and are hoping for more activities and amenities. Well, we've got a ton of those too. And if you're someone who's looking for a non-HOA community, we have a million of them as well. And now my final reason I love living in Sarasota is because of the strong real estate market. Sarasota's housing market still remains strong even though all of the headlines claim a crash is imminent. Well, I disagree. I mean, looking at the data, the inventory in Sarasota is still low and there's still a lot of demand for people looking to buy a house here. Whether you're a retiree who wants to, well, retire here, or you're a young family that can work from home and want to buy a house here, All of these things make perfect grounds for maintaining high real estate prices, even while others in other markets are dropping. All right, now just because I do love living in Sarasota, that doesn't mean you're in the clear. You need to watch this video right here to see the things that I hate about living in Sarasota. Thanks for watching.